how good is the Oklahoma City Thunder? Are the Oklahoma City Thunder going to be this year? They were a very good team last year. I think they were 40-42, right? Their over or under win total is, I believe, at like 44.5. So they're expecting a little bit of a jump. They obviously are throwing Chet Holmgren in there. I'm working on a piece right now on Chet Holmgren and his defense, probably going to be out next week at some point. And obviously they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They're expecting a jump from J-Dub, Jalen Williams. Josh Giddey could potentially make a jump. They have Lou Dort, their defensive weapon, some rotation pieces, and Isaiah Joe and Trey Mann and Ousmane Dieng, et cetera, et cetera. There's a way for this team to be really, really good. How good exactly are we talking here, though, Lauren? Where are you on the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Gosh. I mean, the West is, we always hear it, such a gauntlet, a bloodbath, all the things. I could talk myself into them being better. I mean, with what we saw from Shai last year and even this summer, what we saw from him, I really do think that they could surprise some people in terms of not even worrying about the play-in, being a few notches above that. I don't think I can put them top 3, even maybe top 4, I think. But I think that they're scary deep. I'm very high on Chet Holmgren. Like, I've bought all the stock. Same. I think he is going to be phenomenal. And I think we're going to see another good year from Shai. And I think Josh Giddey is continuing to improve on the areas that he gets the most criticism for in terms of being he's not one-dimensional at all, but in terms of having big weaknesses, I think we're seeing the kind of incremental improvement in his game in those areas. And so I think that they're also going to have options to potentially switch some things up for midseason acquisitions if they need to address certain needs. I think they have lots of roster flexibility, but in terms of talent and what they're going to bring to the table on day one, I think that they're hungry. I think that they're ready. And one thing that when I'm watching Chet Holmgren and why I've bought in so much on OKC is we know what his skill set is, but he goes out and he takes his looks. He takes the game into his own hands. He's not waiting for it to come to him. He's not waiting to get set up or plays to be called for him. He's so aggressive, and that says a lot for a guy who was out his entire rookie year. And so I am very high on them, and I really do think that a couple of these teams that we've talked about even already, but that have maybe some older players, they're a couple of injuries away from just sliding right past some of these people under the radar. So I think they're a team that you wouldn't necessarily want to underestimate come playoff time, and that they can make a lot of noise in the regular season. So I'd say ceiling... Let me go back and look at this. I don't want to get too crazy. I'm going to say ceiling. I really do think a couple of injuries away from ceiling being the 4th seed.
Okay. I like that. I'll take that. Totally fine with me. Not like,
you'll take
I think that's something that's like, look, okay. So just to go through it, Denver is a lock as a playoff team. I think Phoenix is a lock as a playoff team. I think the Lakers are a lock as a playoff team. I would go ahead and say the Warriors are a lock as a playoff team as well. That's 4 spots secured, right? Then you're getting into Memphis, who hasn't had a under 50 win season in a while. You're looking at the Kings, who just came up. And I could see, by the way, I was going to say that's probably my ceiling for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. I could see them having a really exciting 3 seed type of season where they are the talk of the entire year.
Yeah.
You know, instead of lighting the beam, we're chanting Thunderstruck or whatever. And like they have a really impressive regular season. It ends in a bloodbath of a first round series. And we're all saying this is going to be a great future. Hell yeah. Oklahoma City basketball is back. That's sort of the ceiling I could see for this team. The floor is like, you're looking at a play-in team. And there's like, other than San Antonio and Portland, you could argue every single other team in the West is trying to win and is trying to compete for a playoff spot right now. Don't tell Victor Wembanyama that, because he clearly seems like he wants to compete right now. But ultimately, Portland and San Antonio are the only 2 teams that I think, you know what, you're not going to be competitive. But the rest of the West is absolutely insane. And like you said, injuries shake things up in a major way. The Zion Williamson question in New Orleans is always going to be a big one. That was sort of a burning question I had, but I didn't want to include because how many times are we going to talk about Zion Williamson and his injury stuff?
Right.
that could shake things up in a major way. Minnesota was so injured last year with Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert and, adding Mike Conley to the mix. Like, maybe they take a huge leap this season, right? Mm-hmm. Dallas last year was, there was a lot going on in Dallas last year, but like ultimately, hey, maybe everything works. Everything is just completely corrected for a full season of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, and they just blast onto the scene, or they're just not good enough outside of those guys. And, they could potentially be in the final play-in spot or what. There's just so many, variables to the Western Conference that, like, it's a fool's errand even trying to predict the West. Ultimately, I think Oklahoma City is going to be very good. I don't think they'll be surprised by them, but I do think there's an opportunity here for them to really seize the season and make, kind of put their stamp on it and be like, this is the season that we've broke out, if you will.